Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the training for how to run subjects in studies involving the Borderlands battery. So there's two main lessons I want to convey in this. One is the technical aspects of how to get the battery to work on the computer. And the other is the art of running a subject professionally. And that's probably harder to teach, but I'll try to give you like some pointers on that. Okay, so and I would say there's two aspects even to the art. One is the clinical aspect. So you're sort of taking on the role of the expert, the clinician, the psychologist or something, and you want to make people feel valued, essentially, while they're, and limit the stress that they're under during these really hard tests. The other thing is you want to take the stance of the scientist, the psychophysicist, who really gets the most out of their subjects in terms of their effort. You want to make sure that all your subjects are trying their hardest on every trial. So that's some of the major factors. So somewhere is a piece of paper, which you guys all have. This is the checkoff sheet, right? You guys all made your own version of this. So the first thing you'll do on this checkoff sheet before you even do this pep talk, which I put at the top on this one, you're going to do the consent form. So that's the first thing. So when I give people the consent form, I usually say, I give them a short and sweet, like what it's about. So it's about the risks and benefits of the study. There's really not much benefit. You might they might be getting extra credit or something, but that's kind of just like an even trade. It's not really a benefit. They're giving you their time. So it's like, of course they should get something for that, but that's not really a benefit. So there's really no benefit to them being in your studies. It's just they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart, and you're very grateful for that. The risk is usually that these tests are very hard, and they can be challenging or frustrating for some people. So that's the main risk. And if you're asking any like personal questions or whatever stuff about mental health, that could be upsetting for people. That's another risk people should know. But after you kind of explain that very briefly, they fill out the form. They usually don't even read it, and they sign, you sign, and you begin. So the consent is then done. I don't know if you guys have questionnaires you're giving people or whatever, like I do on this battery, but you could do those next if you want. And then when you're ready to do the psychophysics on the computer, you do this pep talk. And I have 4 things here to help remind people what to say. So this is kind of how I would do it. I'll pretend Michelle is my participant.
Okay.
She's about to go. So, all right, so great. So we're here sort of for the main event. The reason you're here is to do these visual tests. And these tests are a little different probably than anything you've ever done. They're not like in school where like a 95 is like an A and that's a really good grade, and an 85% is like a B and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Here, like, you're gonna have to guess half of the time. You're gonna feel like you're getting it wrong half of the time, and that doesn't mean you're failing. It just means it's because the way that the test is. Even me, I designed some of these tests. I've done tens or hundreds of thousands of trials of tests like this, and I have to guess half the time. Everybody does. So there's nothing. It doesn't mean anything bad if you have to guess. It's a little bit like if we went into the gym and we wanted to see how strong you were. We might give you some weights and be like, can you lift that? And if you could lift them, then we'd know, well, she can lift that, but how strong is she? We'd have to keep going and giving you more and more weight until you failed, until there was a weight you couldn't lift. Then we'd know we got to your limit. And that's kind of what we're doing with these vision tests, is we're giving you some that are beyond everybody's limit, So that's kind of the way it goes. So with all of them, there'll be 2 choices. You'll say left or right, which way did it move, or during the first period of time or the second period of time, when did you see the stimulus? And you'll have to guess every trial. But the most important thing is just that you do your best throughout all this, even though it's difficult. Does that make sense? Any questions about that?
Makes sense.
Okay, great. So that's sort of the pep talk. So you guys can do that in your own way, but try to touch on some of those same points, and that's that. The other thing to do at some point, this isn't really my pep talk, but maybe at the end this would be appropriate, or maybe at the beginning. But I think it's more powerful if you do it at the end, is to just give a real heartfelt thanks to your subject. Like, you know, thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it. We couldn't do this research without people like you, and, you know, just giving your time out of the goodness of your heart. We really appreciate that. Something like that. That way people feel positive, and they're likely to, you know, say positive things about science or to their roommate, and maybe get another subject out of it or something. You know, it's all good. All right, so that's I guess all I'll say for now for the art of data collection. Or actually no, there's one more thing about data collection. Daniel, would you be a subject? So let's say Daniel steps up to the microphone here. So I guess I'll show you the first task in terms of the technical aspect, as well as the art of running subjects. So okay, so we're ready to go here. We're going to do our first test, and the first thing you need to do when you're about to run a subject, this is purely technical, is you need to make sure that the monitor is running at the right speed, because our Borderlands task is, remember we were looking at the Galome task today, it's about presentation time and stuff, and how long did you see the stimulus. That's very, very important. And if the monitor is running at a different speed, it will not be showing the stimulus for how long we think it is. So we would have lies in our data, essentially. It'd be very, very bad. So we need to double check that it's running at the right speed. So to do that, you just type screen, and then you can actually hit up, and you'll probably see this, screen resolution, comma 0, and you need to have apostrophes around the resolution. And then you just hit enter, and it tells you what the resolution of the screen is, including the temporal resolution, the refresh rate. So it says HZ120. That's what we want. We want this to be at 120. It's possible that if someone resets the computer, or the computer shuts off, or it gets logged out or something, this could change to 85 or 60. And in that case, you would have to get it back to 120. And that's a little geeky to do. So the way to get it to 120 is like this. You have to go to the terminal in Linux. So the terminal, you find it in the corner of the screen here. Can you see this, Michelle? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. In the corner of the screen, you click on that grid, which is kind of mostly visible, and you type terminal. And then this little thing comes up. You can click on it. And here's the terminal. And the way that you get the monitor to be running at 120 hertz is you probably just hit up, and you'll see this xrandr command. Now there's 3 xrandr commands in the history. That's what you're accessing when you press up, is the last few commands, to go. And you need to enter these commands in this order. So xrandr new mode, you hit enter for xrandr new mode, blah, blah, blah. And then xrandr add mode, blah, blah, blah. You hit enter. And then xrandr output, and you hit enter. And that will, the monitor should go blank for just a second and then come back, and it'll be at the right resolution and speed. So that is how to get it to be going 120 hertz if it's not already, but in our case it is already at 120 hertz, so we're good to go.
Do you need those numbers in, or just the commands?
Everything that you saw there, the numbers after have to be there too.
Okay.
And the good news is they will be. If you just press up, all those numbers will be there from the history. So.
Okay.
If they're not there, you would have to type them all in, but you'll have your precious video with the numbers there if you needed to do that. Okay, cool. So once the monitor is set, then we can begin. So we'll begin with a demo. And actually, before we do that, we have to get the lighting right. So now we're about to do real psychophysics. We got to make sure the lighting is right. We're going to shut the door. Come on in, Kim. And Kim, if you can find a way to turn on that light up there. There's a little cord that hangs down the back, and somewhere on the cord is one of those like dialy things. Yep. Oh, yes. There we go. This is the lighting conditions we need to have for everybody. So make sure you don't have the lights all the way off, or those lights on, you need just the lamp. So now we're going to do the demo. So actually, sorry, the first thing, just in case MATLAB is ever closed, let me show you how to open MATLAB. Go here, click on MATLAB, and then now we're going to have to get to the right folder once it opens. Oh, that was so quick. don't say deactivate, say close. And then you're going to type CD space and keep going up until you get to this command, Desktop Research CSD Borderlands Programs. That's the folder you want to go to. That's the folder we're now in. And these programs here, these 5, are the ones we're going to run. The first one is called Borderlands, Small Demo. And we're going to run that now. So, Daniel, with no further ado, what you're going to see here, actually, I'm not going to give you the keyboard yet, is some squiggly lines, kind of like a barbershop pole or something, you know, how the lines move on a barbershop pole. They'll be like a barbershop pole that's sideways and circular, and they're going to move either to the right or to the left. And I just want you to tell me which way they move each time, okay? So you'll hit enter, you'll type the person's ID, and it's important that each group have a scheme for your IDs. So like, have like a prefix or something like 222 or 800 or something like that. And then after the 800 comes subject 01, and then 02, and then 03. So you'll know anything that starts with 800 is my subjects, you know, or whatever prefix you guys want to have. So I usually call myself 9999 when I do stuff, so I'll call this 999901. And then you hit tab a couple times, and it goes to the OK. See how the OK was just highlighted? And you hit enter. You can also just use the mouse to click OK. So here we go, Daniel. Frog is going to think. And here we go. So which way are they going? Left or right?
Left.
Good.
Right.
Excellent. And if you want to step right up to the microphone there, and, actually for now, don't put your chin in, but
All over.
for the real subject,
Left.
you would have them do that?
Right.
Right.
Left.
Good.
Right.
And notice what I'm doing right now in terms of the art of writing subjects. I was watching the stimulus the entire time. If he said one of those that was wrong, I would have given pause and I would have been like, huh. I would have thought to myself, did he just say the wrong thing, or is there something wrong with his brain, or does he not understand? Because these are pretty easy ones, you know? So if he got like a couple wrong there out of 6, see it says ACK sum at the end. This is the proportion correct out of 6. If he's like below 80% correct, I would definitely run the demo again and be like, actually, and then wait for him to get one wrong again possibly. And if he did, I'd be like, actually that one was going to the right. Does this make sense to you? That was the right? And like get him to get it right, you know? And then what we're gonna do is run it again. And this time, Daniel, I'm gonna have you press the buttons yourself, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Just press left or right, and that's a left key. And it's distracting you when you're supposed to be. And you have to wait for it to disappear. Good. Good. All right, so make sense? All right, so for the real test, it'll be just like that, but some of them will be really fast. They might be bigger, smaller, fainter than that. Sometimes they might be so faint you can't even see them. If that's the case, you just take your best guess, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna run the program called New Borderlands Pseudogray Small. And that will be, you'll run that, I don't know how many times you each want to run it, but like the caffeine group maybe less. For you guys, probably like 4 times run it.
Okay.
And the big also. So go small, big, or big, small, but just run these multiple times. So actually, let's just do one, and let's see how it goes. So we'll hit enter. 99901. Tabsky Scout. Tabsky, Daniel, would you mind? Oopsie. There we go. And here we go. And so he's gonna. It's actually not started. It's gonna get brighter. There it is. Left. Good. Good. He's doing great. And notice what I'm still doing, which is watching the screen, and I can see which button he is pressing in my peripheral vision. Sometimes I go back and forth. And I'm just trying to gauge the ones that I think are easy is Daniel getting. If he were not getting them, I would probably run the demo again and be like, do you understand the task? But he seems to be doing great. Another thing that this does, in addition to me ensuring to myself that he understands the task, watching closely his hand and the screen, is it conveys to him that I'm watching him closely and I really care what he's doing. That's going to cause him to give his best effort. If I were sitting here playing on my phone, that would be an awful message to send, that I don't care what he's doing. So it's very important not to do that. Yep, it's okay. We all press the wrong button from time to time. That's why we do a lot of trials. I also would not be talking as I'm doing right now during a real subject. Very good. I would add the very good once or twice during the first round at least. All right, excellent. And wow, so you can see Daniel's results. So this is, each contrast is shown on the top. So the lowest contrast, he's 50% accurate. Probably couldn't see a darn thing on those, right?
Nope.
And the lowest couple, he's kind of close to chance. But then by the third one, he's doing good. He actually got perfect score on the fifth contrast, which is amazing because this includes all the presentation times. Even the briefest presentation times of only 2 frames, he still stroked it and got every single one at that contrast, which is really impressive. And here's by presentation time, averaging across all the contrasts. You did really well, Daniel. So you don't have to explain that to the subject, but you should see some sort of upward slope on both of these lines, where they're on the easy conditions on the right, they're doing significantly better than chance, better than 50%. If it was a flat line, 50% the whole way, again, they probably don't understand the task. You need to run the demo again. All right.
Is there a reason why there's not a 6th condition on the green?
I just didn't feel it was going to tell us anything.
Okay.
I feel like people max out usually
Yeah.
by the 5th. So just trying to save you guys time. So yeah, so that's the Borderlands task small. So then you'd run it with a big stimulus, the same thing, but it's big. And then you repeat it for like a total of 4 times each. So I don't know how long that took, but I would say maybe 3 minutes it took Daniel to do that. So it's not too long. So 4 times 3 is 12, like 24 minutes for the whole thing. There's one other thing we need to do though in terms of psychophysics, which is contrast detection. So this one I don't have a demo for yet. I'll just have Daniel jump right in and do the task without a demo. It's called contrast detection dynamic. And so for this one, Daniel, what you're going to see is a fixation cross. That little cross, white cross in the middle of the screen is going to come up. And then it's going to disappear, and then another cross is going to come up. And during one of the crosses, either the first cross or the second cross, you will see the wavy lines moving on the screen like you did before. And I just want you to tell me 1 or 2, which cross did you see the lines, okay? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So let's try it. 999-901, Tabaroni. I actually don't think we need 5, I think we need 3. Okay, here we go. I'm going to help him. So first one, second one. Did you see any wavy lines?
No.
Okay, so just take your best guess. You'll see them eventually. First one, second one. Again, just guess first one, second one. Did you see those?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Good. First one, second one. Good. First one, second one. Good. Good. So now I'd shut up, but I would kind of talk him through the first few trials since we don't have a demo for this one. What happened?
Nothing. Or nothing's happening.
Press again.
Oh, did I miss one?
You might have missed one.
There we go.
Yep. With this task, it's very easy for the subject to get off rhythm, and they get confused when, are they on a 1 or a 2 or something like that. So if that ever happens, just have them take a break and then take a guess, and the next trial will come and you can say 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Can you guys see the rhythm, that how it's working? Yeah, good. So that's basically the contrast detection task. Are you guys doing visual acuity? Is anyone measuring the visual acuity of their subjects?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's fine. If anybody mentions like they have really bad vision, just make a note. So this should just take a couple minutes. I think it's only like 60 trials. All right, sweet. So then now you're just going to do that same thing with, and look at, you can see his accuracy here is absolutely perfect on the 3 highest contrasts, chance at the lowest, a little bit better. This is like an ideal curve you want. So you just do the same thing with the other one that says contrast detection underscore static. Basically, you just want to make sure you're running all 5 of these programs which exist in this folder. Contrast detection static, contrast detection dynamic, the demo for Borderlands, and then Borderlands small and big, you're going to run that for each for you guys, and the sleepy people. Not the caffeine people. The caffeine people, I think it's fine if you just do it twice each per condition. So without caffeine, and you do it twice each for small and big. On caffeine, you do it twice each for small and big. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
I think that'll save you guys some time since you're doing so many subjects and
Yeah.
you're doing everything twice. So
Yes.
yeah. I know you guys are doing everything 4 times, but we're also paying them, and yeah. So good. I think that's actually about it. Any questions?
So for the static and dynamic, is it also 4 times or just once?
That just once each. Good question. Very good question.
Okay, and does it matter the order that we do the tests in?
I don't think it really matters. I would kind of, the most important thing is the Borderlands. So if you're at all unsure whether you're going to be able to finish anything, if the subject has a tight schedule or something, I don't know, in that case what I would do is I would do Borderlands only 3 times each.
Okay.
And I would still do contrast detection. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you can mix around the order. Some do small first, some do big first, some do contrast detection first, some do it at the end. Yeah. If you can see, and you can feel it's hot in here, right? It's kind of dark. Kind of feels like the womb. People want to go to sleep. Don't let it happen. If people look tired and say, you want to get up and take a break, I know this is really hard, and sometimes they'll take you up on that, and other times they'll want to fight through, but yeah, I think that's it. Okay, cool. Thanks for filming, Michelle.